Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday graced the 20th National Convention of Lawyers with approximately 4,000 lawyers from both the government and private sectors in attendance for the biennial event held at the Waterfront Hotel in Cebu City. Scheduled from the 30th of January to the 1st of February, the convention serves as a platform for legal practitioners to engage in discussions on critical legal issues while earning 18 mandatory continuing legal education or MCLE units. It also fulfills the 5 required attendances at national or regional conventions for Integrated Bar of the Philippines or IBP lifetime membership. MCLE ensures that lawyers stay updated on legal developments, uphold ethical standards, and enhance the quality of legal practice in the country. The convention reaffirms the IBP's commitment to professional development and continuous advancement of the legal profession in the Philippines. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
It is an honor and a pleasure, and with a little trepidation, that I stand before you today, because you are our agents of justice, who, whether by choice and necessity, have dared to be able to go through voluminous tomes, read through 100-page contracts without falling asleep. And that alone deserves already applause. But let me tell you, as president, I am going to give you a run for your money. Just last month, I had to read 4,057 pages of the General Appropriations Act for 2025. Because I reviewed it, analyzed it, and, yes, in parts, vetoed it. And so for those of you, and up to now, I cannot find those damned blank items. We'll keep looking, but I really am convinced that they simply do not exist because it is not allowed to exist. So for those of you who think the presidency is just handshakes, photo ops, I assure you that fine print is alive in my office as well. Today, at the 20th National Convention of the Integrated Bar of the Philippines, or IBP, you convene to reflect on the critical role that you play in shaping the legal landscape of our nation. There is no better moment than this to reaffirm our shared commitment to the rule of law, a commitment to ensuring that justice remains the bedrock upon which our democracy stands strong and unshaken. This year's theme, From Milestones to Horizons, Strengthening the Future of the Legal Profession, is both a rallying call and a profound challenge. I have always held deep respect for your profession, not only because of its role in our society, but also because of the examples set by the lawyers that have surrounded me all my life. To begin with my father, all of those who assisted him during his time in government, and to the point that I married a lawyer, my wife, Lisa. I have seen through her how lawyers devote yourselves to mentoring aspiring lawyers, also championing free legal clinics, providing assistance to the underserved. These actions remind us that beyond the intellect and skill required by law, it is compassion and service that truly defines the essence of this noble profession. I also learned a valuable lesson very early on, one that I carry with me to this day. Never argue with your wife, especially if she is a lawyer. It is not a debate you will ever win. because for a layman, we sit there and you begin to feel the application of trial technique, something which we are not too accustomed with. So what starts as a simple yes-no question eventually transforms into, it depends. And before you know it, you are knee-deep in case law, precedent, and a cross-examination that you did not sign up for. But on a more serious note, she has shown me the incredible depth and nuance of the law and the minds that practice it. In this era of technological advancement, economic transformation, and global interdependence, you stand at the forefront of an unprecedentedly dynamic and therefore challenging landscape. The emergence of issues such as cybercrime, data privacy, and the ethical use of artificial intelligence presents not only technical dilemmas, but moral ones as well. And therefore, they demand our continued commitment to protect human dignity in an increasingly digital world. The recent adoption of the Code of Professional Responsibility and Accountability is a significant step forward, a declaration that the highest ethical standards must guide every member of the legal community. The task before us now is to ensure that this code becomes the very foundation of how our lawyers live and practice. Equally pressing is the existential challenge of our time, and that is climate crisis. This is no longer an abstract threat that is spoken about at the high levels of science. It is a reality that jeopardizes the very survival of future generations. Your field plays a vital role in this endeavor, crafting and upholding stronger environmental policies that protect our shared home, developing the concept of environmental justice. By doing so, you safeguard the rights of today and preserve the dreams and dignity of those that will follow us. Strengthening the legal profession, however, demands more than responding to crises. It also requires reinforcing your field's very foundations, education, continuous learning. The next generation of lawyers must be prepared to meet the challenges of this ever-changing world. And so the 3,962 new lawyers, welcome to the front lines of justice. Your journey begins now. And that journey, with it, a tremendous opportunity is granted you to shape a society that is fairer, more equitable, more inclusive. As the legal profession evolves, so too must our learning institutions. Law schools must continually adapt to the demands of the times by refining their curricula, integrating emerging fields, and ensuring a seamless blend of legal theory and real-world application. The revised model curriculum of the Basic Law program already sets the stage by incorporating human rights law and international law at its core. And yet our challenge is to ensure that these principles are not confined to the pages of textbooks or the halls of courtrooms, but are lived and breathed, always guided by the Constitution and the values that it upholds. As members of the legal community, you are in the most fitting position to safeguard that Constitution, that living document that embodies our collective aspiration and that binds us together as a people. A decade ago, the Philippine Constitution Association awarded me the title of the Great Protector of the Constitution. When I accepted the award, I could not help but marvel at the irony, a non-lawyer entrusted with such a lofty title. But that is the beauty of democracy and the enduring power of our Constitution. It allows even the most unexpected candidates, like a layman myself, to play a role in protecting its principles. And there lies the heart of the matter. Being a vanguard of the Constitution transcends political affiliation, family legacy, profession. At its core, it is about ensuring that justice is more than just an ideal written on paper. It is about ensuring that it exists in the real world, in the lives of every ordinary citizen. In this light, we must embrace a simple but profound truth. The law must serve all Filipinos, not just the privileged few. Justice must find its way to the margins where it is most needed, reaching the underserved, the unseen, the unheard. After all, the Constitution is meant to be wielded with purpose and compassion, especially for those who need it the most. Initiatives such as the Unified Legal Aid Service rules, which require lawyers to render at least 60 hours of pro bono legal aid every 3 years for indigent Filipinos, is very commendable. Equally notable are the IBP's tireless efforts to provide legal assistance. Legal assistance is provided both here and abroad, bringing us closer to a justice system that serves everyone. The launch of additional secure justice hubs in August 2022 and March of 2023 has also been pivotal in bridging the gap between marginalized communities and the justice that they deserve but seldom see. By embracing technology and championing alternative dispute resolution, the IBP has ensured that fairness and efficiency in legal remedies are accessible to all Filipinos. No less significant is the pro bono portal introduced by the same institution in April of last year. This digital platform has redefined the delivery of legal aid, offering free courtroom representation, legal counseling, document preparation, and developmental legal assistance to the disadvantaged. Along with these initiatives, the IBP conducts bench and bar dialogues which foster collaboration amongst judges, justices, prosecutors, practicing lawyers, and enhancing in the process the legal processes that we are using. This administration remains your partner in nurturing the environment where our lawyers excel, where justice is swift, where it is fair, where it is impartial, and where the rule of law remains the cornerstone of all progress. Towards this end, we have enacted 14 new laws establishing additional first and second level courts across the country, bringing justice closer to our people. And as we move forward, I encourage everyone to enrich your commitment to truth and to fairness. Embrace the highest standards of professionalism and embody the ideals of integrity and of service. United by this shared vision of equity, let us build the bagong Pilipinas, where the rule of law reigns supreme, where peace and security shape every community, and where every Filipino enjoys the enduring gifts of liberty.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has certified as urgent the proposed measure postponing the parliamentary elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM. Presidential Communications Office, or PCO Acting Secretary Cesar Chavez confirmed President Marcos's certification in a text message to reporters Wednesday. This as Senate President Francis Escudero disclosed that the President certified the measure seeking the postponement of the BARM polls. However, it is unclear which version of the bill was certified urgent. The PCO said the chief executive said the move would address the urgent need of the Bangsamoro transitional government to realign its governance structure. It will also ensure that the region's aspirations for unity, inclusivity, and genuine autonomy are achieved. According to the PCO, a copy of the letter was also transmitted to House Speaker Martin Romualdez and Secretary Mark Leandro Mendoza, President and Advisor on Legislative Affairs and Head of the Presidential Legislative Liaison Office. The Senate version, which passed the upper chamber's second reading on Tuesday, seeks to move the barn polls from May 11, 2025 to October of 2025. On the other hand, the bill that was approved on third and final reading in the House of Representatives proposed the defer of the polls to May of 2026. The first parliamentary election in BARM is set to be held simultaneously with this year's midterm elections in May.
Dateline Malacañang.
In a related story, the Philippines Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, on Wednesday said it has decided not to start the printing of ballots for the Bangsamoro parliamentary elections, or BPE, given recent developments. In a brief statement, COMELEC chairperson George Garcia said they would only be printing ballots for the May 12th national and local elections. Garcia added they might end up opening the filing of certificate of candidacy anew for the region in the event of redistricting as a result of reapportionment of the slots originally assigned to Sulu. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has certified as urgent the proposed measure postponing the parliamentary elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARM. According to the Presidential Communications Office, or PCO, the President supports the immediate passage of Senate Bill No. 2942 to address the urgent need of the Bangsamoro Transitional Government to realign its governance structure. Garcia said to just wait for the passage of law as there are a lot of adjustments to be made. The COMELEC has started the reprinting of the ballots on Monday, January 27th, after printing activities were stopped due to the temporary restraining orders issued by the Supreme Court on the cases of national and local aspirants earlier disqualified by the poll body. Garcia said they would be doing more adjustments regarding the preparations for the upcoming elections.
Dateline Malacañang.
A good percentage of Filipinos are happy and remain contented with the performance of the administration of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Based on the fourth quarter survey conducted by the Social Weather Stations, or SWS, 59% of Filipinos approve of the overall performance of the Marcos administration. 23% are not happy with administration, while 17% are unsure. This has an equivalent net satisfaction rating of plus 36, which remains to be good. Among the government programs the public is delighted with are helping victims during times of disasters, improving children's education, helping the poor, generating jobs, and developing science and technology. When compared to the previous quarter, the national government's satisfaction rating went up in 7 issues, including being ready during times of strong storms, defending the country's sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea, ensuring food security, and proper public transportation. The survey was conducted from the 12th to the 18th of December with 2,160 respondents 18 years old and above, and has a sampling error margin of plus minus 2.
Dateline Malacañang.
Their news, the Department of National Defense, or DND, on Wednesday announced that the Philippines and New Zealand have officially started negotiations for the Status of Visiting Forces Agreement, or SOVFA. In a statement, the DND said the first round of talks took place in Manila last January 23rd. The talks were hosted by the Philippine government in Manila with DND Undersecretary Pablo Lorenzo and Ministry of Defense or MOD Director Kathleen Pierce leading the Philippine and New Zealand delegations respectively. The DND said New Zealand delegation included Ambassador Catherine McIntosh, Deputy Head of Mission Stacy Quant, and an analyst from the MOD. Other members of the New Zealand delegation joined virtually. Meanwhile, the Philippine delegation was composed of Department of Justice or DOJ Undersecretaries Raul Vasquez and Dennis Arvin Chan, Presidential Commission on Visiting Forces Undersecretary Antonio Habulan Jr., Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA Assistant Secretaries Eileen Menjola Rao and Patrick Chuasoto, and DND Assistant Secretary Eric Lawrence D. The DND said a commitment to conclude a SOVFA was among the key outcomes agreed between Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon during the latter's visit to Manila in April of 2024. The SOVFA will reinforce the Memorandum of Arrangement between the DND and the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP with the MOD of New Zealand concerning defense cooperation, which was signed in 2017. It will enable both countries' armed forces to elevate their cooperative activities and conduct exercises in each other's territories, deepening overall defense and military cooperation. The DND said the successful conclusion of this agreement will be a significant milestone for the overall bilateral relationship between the Philippines and New Zealand, which would mark 60 years of diplomatic ties in 2026.
Dateline Malacañang.
While the Philippines Department of National Defense or DND on Wednesday said it is likewise optimistic that the Philippines-United States Defense Alliance will continue to flourish under the new administration of U.S. President Donald Trump. In a recent interview on Battlegrounds, Vital Perspectives on Today's Challenges with former United States National Security Advisor and retired Lieutenant General Herbert Raymond McMaster, Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. said he expects the momentum that is existing at present will continue because of the evolving new ecosystem of security. With the review of U.S. assistance is being conducted, the DND and Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP continue to pursue the development of the country's defense capabilities in accordance with identified needs and priorities. In his discussion with McMaster, Chodoro said, the Philippines is at the forefront of upholding international norms, emphasizing the importance of adhering to international law and the United Nations Charter. Secretary Chodoro warned against the dangers of coercive actions by more powerful nations which threaten global freedom, the future of smaller countries, and our way of life.
Well, the Philippines right now is at the forefront of upholding international norms. And this is not an empty phrase, international norms. But if we fail to uphold what is written down in the United Nations Charter, the treaties right now, we stand the risk of having these norms which we guarantee our way of life, our freedom, resources for the future, particularly of the smaller countries. We stand the risk of having this redefined by active, coercive actions by more powerful countries and by acquiescence by equally, if not more powerful countries too. Therefore, we lose by default or inaction.
That was Department of National Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
A related story, Philippine Senate President Francis Escudero said he is not concerned with the statement of United States President Donald Trump on temporarily suspending its foreign assistance to other countries. Escudero is rather confident on the vow of U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio that the U.S. will continue their support to the Philippines as well as maintaining peace and stability in the region. The senator believes that the assistance will not stop, but there is a possibility that the U.S. will reduce its aid. This is related to President Trump's vision of America First, wherein the U.S. government will spend and focus on the country's problems against other countries, which Senator Escudero agrees. The Senate President is confident with Philippine Ambassador to the U.S., Jose Manuel Romualdez, that he is doing his job and discussing this issue with his U.S. counterpart.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Air Force, or PAF, on Wednesday announced that it sees more high-level interactions with the United States Pacific Air Force, or PACAF. This came as PACAF Commander General Kevin Schneider paid a visit to PAF Chief Arthur Cordura at Villamor Air Base in Pasay City on Tuesday. In a statement, Air Force spokesperson Colonel Maria Consuelo Castillo said that during the visit, General Schneider and Lieutenant General Cordura engaged in discussions on bolstering interoperability between the two air forces and excellence in combined operations. Castillo also said the two Air Force commanders in their meeting also emphasized the importance of joint exercises and training programs in enhancing the operational capabilities of both forces, as well as addressing key areas including information sharing, airman-to-airman talks, and routine maritime cooperative activities. Cordura and Schneider also discussed ongoing projects under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA, which aim to facilitate cooperation in humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations, strengthen the country's defense capabilities, and promote regional security. Castillo said that as part of the visit, General Schneider and his delegation will visit PAF air bases and EDCA project sites in Pampanga, Palawan, Cebu, and Lumbia Airport in Cagayan de Oro. With this activity, the PAF and PACAF reinforces their commitment to enhancing interoperability, promoting operational excellence, strengthening bilateral relations, boosting defense capabilities, and supporting peace and security in the Indo-Pacific region.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the New Zealand Embassy in Manila on Wednesday announced that the New Zealand government will open applications for its Manaaki scholarships starting February 1st. The prestigious Manaaki New Zealand Scholarships offers nationals from Asia-Pacific countries, including Filipinos, the opportunity to pursue postgraduate degrees in New Zealand commencing in early 2026. Eligible applicants will get comprehensive support including full tuition, living expenses, establishment allowance, medical and travel insurance, and round-trip airfare between the Philippines and New Zealand. Funded through the New Zealand International Development Cooperation Program, these scholarships had been providing opportunities to young leaders to drive change across priority areas including climate change, renewable energy, disaster risk management, and good governance. For the 2024 cycle, a total of 16 Filipinos were selected for the scholarship and will begin their studies in New Zealand this year. New Zealand Ambassador to the Philippines, Catherine McIntosh, said, Manaaki New Zealand scholarships empower problem solvers, change makers, and highly capable individuals to pursue their potential to become leaders in their communities and countries. The ambassador added that scholars will gain a world-class education, an authentic New Zealand experience, and the tools to help the Philippines achieve the future it deserves. The online application portal will open at 12 midnight New Zealand time on February 1st and close at 12 noon New Zealand time on February 28th. The scholarships are open to eligible candidates from the public, private, and civil society sectors.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 9.475 MHz, 15.640 MHz, and 17.820 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.